Hi guys, welcome back to yet another session number 4 of Recalibrate You series of workshops running and celebrating small victories. Over the last few weeks, we've covered all about regular mistakes that runners make. We've covered about how to prep yourself with running drills, and also how to find running economy through form. Now today we're going to look at all about taking the small steps, enjoying the journey, and celebrating the wins. My name is Captain Eugene, Captain of Adidas Runners Singapore.
My name is Sofie. I'm one of the captains for Adidas Runners Singapore. And before we move on, I forgot to share the quote from episode 3.
Oh yeah, every week we'll be having a quote.
So episode 3's quote is, breathing is life.
Yeah, so
moving on.
Yeah, so if you haven't watched it yet, you can go back and rewatch it, right, to find out how it links to what we're talking about.
Yep.
Okay. Hi, I'm Coach John. I'm the head honcho for Adidas Running Singapore. I'm the guy that looks after, the program, the content, your development as runners as part of our community.
Okay, so guys, don't forget to write any questions you might have in the Q&A section, and we'll be sure to address them later on. Alright, so like I said, over the last few weeks, right, we've been covering all different topics. Now we come to an important part. How do you measure your progress? Everything's fine, dandy. You put things in place. You've been tracking your way up to becoming a runner. How do you measure that, right? So we all have different journeys as runners. For me, I used to run when I was in school. Running for me came naturally. It's just one of those things whereby we'd be running around and against the other kids in my classroom, I found that I was faster than them. So my running journey naturally started from there. Over the years, I progressed into a runner from, I became a cross-country runner, and then I started finding that I enjoyed more short, medium kind of distances where I really enjoy high-intensity stuff, and that evolved a bit more to me running to supplement my cardiovascular fitness for other sports I do, be it soccer, Muay Thai, etc.
So for me, I think most of you have heard my story before. If you haven't, I started running 7 years ago. I started running because of Eugene, so that he will not look at other girls, but he'll look at me, so that I'll be fit and look fit. So I started running, and I could only run 10 minutes, and I could barely breathe, and it was a struggle for me, and I really hated it. I somehow ended up being in a community or communities that run, and I've grown to love the communities I'm in, and I formed like really, really strong friendships through my run communities, and it's now part of my life. I still have a love-hate relationship with it, but I continue to run, and I obviously have improved over the 7 years. I can run more than 10 minutes for sure. In fact, I think over the last year, because of circuit breaker and lockdown, I also managed to increase my running pace, and that obviously is a very big achievement for me. A small achievement maybe to many, because I see people running easily 6-minute pace, and that's something which I still cannot do. But it's really like that small win for me. So that's my running journey, and today I still run because I hope to inspire others that want to run and to be part of the running communities that I'm in.
Yeah, cool. And for me, I actually was not a runner to start. I actually swam. I did a lot of swimming. So when I picked up running, I was literally a fish out of water. I had probably not a great running technique, but that's something that that spurred me on to really work and really look into how to refine my skill, as a runner, and my technique as a runner. It took me about 1.5 years to 2 years to become pretty proficient at it. But I went from not being able to run to being able to run relatively fast.
Really, truly a scientist. Scientist John.
Yeah.
So that being said, right, we all have different journeys. John, I guess what would be good ways for us to then, doesn't matter what kind of runner we are, right? What's a good way for us to then track this progress? To know that what we're doing is we're on the right track, per se, be it through recognizing the mistakes we made through running, whether it's through our running preparation, whether it's through having good running economy. Like, how do we know that we are improving and on the right track?
Well, one of the easiest ways to kind of gauge your progress is really running, picking a route that, that is a challenge, right, for you, right? So if you have a route that's challenging and the first time you do it, you're like cursing and swearing, right?
That's Mount Faber.
Yeah,
Still.
just to get to the top, right?
Yeah.
It feels so good once you're done, but you know that when you think back, you get like flashbacks to, oh my gosh, that was so bad, right? But revisiting that place again and then being able to like conquer it, with a much easier and more positive experience. I mean, that's something I think for me, it's really motivating, and I think we see that often when we do our AR runs. It's like the first session, they suffer, but everybody kind of suffers together, but collectively, right? We go out there, we get it done, we get the sessions done, and then we all develop and we all grow. And then when we come back to that course again, like we go one full circle, we come back there again, we actually do it and we feel so much, it's so much easier.
So we're actually talking about challenges and goal setting.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? Now, how about, I guess, if you're going to be a runner, inevitably the word that comes out, and this is something that also I'm guessing is quite close to Sofie's heart, because over the years, this has come up quite a bit with the community, and that's the word race, right? And through different races, you come in different distances. In school, you've got 2.4, and then eventually you've got a 5K, 10K, 21, 42, so on and so forth. I don't know, like, what do you guys think? It's a good benchmark to measure and track your progress, yet sometimes it can be unnecessary pressure on yourself, like, yeah.
I think it really depends on the individual, right? Some people like challenges a bit more. So maybe they do the 5K and then they want to do like a PB, which is a personal best of a 5K. Maybe it's recently some of our guys did fastest 2.4. I think it doesn't really matter what kind of challenges you want to put forth for yourself, but what feeds you, I guess, what makes you happy. It could be doing your first 10K, it could be doing your first 21, your first 42. It really depends on the individual, I feel.
What feeds your soul?
I think you can vary
What
it
feeds your
yourself.
soul?
What feeds your soul? Yeah, it's a great quote.
Quote.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that I think you can have different flavors as well. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to join a race.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
have to feel better after this run. I mean, some people just like to run this segment better.
Yeah.
Like, like they have like those Strava segments and stuff like that, right? Like this stretch of road, I want to be able to run it faster on this run, So, and when we go, like, for me, when I do the trail runs, it's not really about how fast you can run the trail.
Yep.
It's about just conquering the trail.
Yeah, we just talked about that,
Yeah,
actually.
and
Yeah.
again, right, it really depends. It's not just, I mean, I guess we've met some people that, that don't like to be pressured into running a faster time.
Hey, that's me.
But, when you put a challenge to them, like, oh, can you complete this course?
Yep.
Regardless of how long it's going to take you, yeah, I'll go out and I'll do it. So I think it really depends on what feeds your soul, right?
Yep.
And what you feel that you get something out of it.
And on that note also, I think that goal setting is also important, because it keeps you accountable to what you've been doing, right? To the things you've been putting in place. It keeps you accountable and responsible to measuring your progress, tracking, and making sure that you are not veering too far off that path that you set for yourself.
I mean, some people also just run to keep fit.
Yep.
And that
That's
in
fine.
itself is also an achievement, right?
Yep.
Basically, I want to run 3 times a week. I just want to run 5K or 4K or 3K each time, but just to be on my feet. So that in itself is also an achievement and a goal.
Yeah. And I think that, everybody goes through, I think one thing to note though, is that everybody goes through different seasons in life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could have rough patches in life where, work, life balance, whatever, may not be, it's not possible for you to actually do everything as good all the time, but sometimes also, I guess, it's through these challenges that you learn to work around it, you learn to work through it, and I think that there's some merit to having to go through that as well as a runner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, now on that also. So we've talked a lot about how to become a better runner, how to build, how to grow, right? Yet at the same time, there's another way we need to learn. And a lot of times as athletes, we forget to chillax, right? So even as runners, we have different, our muscles sometimes need to rest, recover mentally, emotionally, physically. Now, what are some of the best ways to recover as a runner?
Well, I think recovery actually is one thing that people are afraid to do.
It's the hardest training. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very often with the runners that I work with, telling them to take a break, they're like, what? I need to take a break? I need to run less?
It's a guilt thing.
Yeah, but it's also like, it's so counterintuitive, right? And it's so, I don't have to run to get better. Like, I mean, you still have to run, but you need to learn to take breaks. But it's really a chance for your body to recover and rest. Because without rest, all the training that you're going to do is just going to make you more and more tired.
What are some good recovery tools that a runner can, implement into their daily practice?
I think the first one is sleep. Most important.
Sleep.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, sleep is really one of the most important things that a runner can have or an athlete can have. A lot of times again with this fast-paced life that we have, we work till late, we have deadlines, we don't sleep, and yet we still go out there and we train. And we can do it from time to time, but if you have to do it consistently, it's going to add up. So sleep is one of the best ways for your body and your cells and all this to recover and repair. So if you don't sleep, you're definitely going to be at the short end of the stick. Yeah.
Yep. How about things like what you put in your body? Nutrition, hydration. I mean, through running, we expend a lot of energy, a lot of fluids. I think we need to somehow replenish all of that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think nutrition is kind of like a big thing. It's something we often neglect. We love to eat our char kway teows and whatever not. Nutrition is one of the key pillars for Adidas runners globally. It's something that we should really consider and look into. Something that I should also consider and look into. But definitely putting the best foods into your body for muscle recovery, for the best nutritions.
Well, I like to use this when I give talks. I like to use this analogy. Like picture your body like a luxury car, right? You wouldn't put diesel fuel into a luxury car, right? It'll mess up the engine. So similar with your body, right? You don't want to be putting junk into your body because that's just the wrong type of fuel.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be doing the work and your body's gonna be needing the right nutrients to help it to run effectively and to repair, you gotta be putting good quality foods in.
So say that, I guess in post-run, most important, you need to make sure that you do get a good balance of nutrients in.
Yeah.
You need to get some carbs in. You need to get some protein in.
Things of color.
Things of color. Okay, what would that be?
Banana.
Fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
And typically, they say like 15 minutes after your run, you should consume something, right? Like a
Yes.
banana or
Yeah,
an apple.
due to your metabolism, when you train and you exercise, your absorption rate is a lot more, it's much more elevated. So you want to be eating actually within the first 30 minutes of finishing your workout.
Yeah.
Because anything outside of that, the absorption rate actually lowers or slows down. So you want to be making sure that you're getting your good quality nutrients in then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about hydration? How important is that?
Very important. Especially like in Singapore, everybody sweats like crazy, right? And one thing that people don't realize is that, when you sweat, you're losing a lot of salt and a lot of electrolytes. And that actually affects your recovery rate, and it affects how your body and your muscles perform as well. So, electrolyte replacement is actually something that is still relatively foreign to most people. When you talk to most people that are out there running, have you done your hydration? How are you hydrating? They say, oh yeah, after I finish my run, I just drink a whole bunch of water, right? The problem with that, to sum it up, is that when you drink a lot of water, right, and there's no electrolyte in them, you're actually diluting the sodium content in your body. So you're lowering your sodium content, in that sense.
You're effectively sort of drowning your body, right?
Yes.
In that sense.
Yeah. So that's something that with recent science and studies, that we're actually looking at now, trying to educate people and that's why they had the introduction of isotonic or electrolyte drinks, where, you get some sort of sodium input, from what you're drinking.
Okay. And we're going to quickly just touch on two other topics that are quite hot nowadays. One of it would be massage and one of it would be compression.
Okay. So massage, when you do your runs, or self-massage, when you do your runs, muscle breaks down. When muscle breaks down, and it rebuilds, very often it will rebuild with knots. All right. It won't rebuild like super slick and like in alignment, right? And these knots can cause tension. And the tension over time can lead to injury and strain, okay, and tightness, right, all around. So having a very regular what do you call it? Like you want to maintain body maintenance program. I think it's very important to ensure that your body is in the right state to keep developing, right, and to keep in a good state to train. So one of the ways is obviously, if you can afford it, go to a massage therapist and get yourself rubbed out, okay? Or a much more affordable way to do it is to actually have a foam roller and actually do your self-rolling after you're done with your session. So foam rolling is actually great. Like for me, when I finish my runs, I usually will just sit in front of the television just to cool down or whatever, right? Watch the news. And then I'll sit on my foam roller and just roll myself out. So that's something that, it doesn't take a whole lot of time, and you can actually do it on a regular basis.
And how about the other one, compression?
You use compression?
Recently I've tried it when I felt like my calves were really tight. So I wore the compression socks
Yeah.
just overnight to sleep
Yeah.
for 2 nights, and then it helped lah. Yeah.
What's the science behind compression though? Like, how does it work?
Well, when your muscles break down and they rebuild, a lot of byproducts are produced, right? And those byproducts tend to pull, especially in your feet, right? And that pulling actually prevents your body from actually recovering faster,
Yeah.
right? And that leads to like delayed onset of muscle soreness, inability to recover fast, quick enough, So compression is actually great. It's a very good technique to actually apply. And you don't have to put in a lot of work. You just have to find the right garments to wear, right?
Yeah.
That facilitates that. So the idea behind compression socks is that because of gravity, all that junk pulls in your feet, right? And pulls downwards and in your body. Your body needs to actually cycle it out to actually pass it out when you pee.
I see.
The only way it gets out is through peeing.
Okay.
Okay? But because it's pulled there, it doesn't get to where it needs to be released. Right? So by having the compression socks on and to have, to lie down and keep your feet elevated, what does that help to do?
Flushing it
It
back.
helps to flush it
Yeah.
back out through what we call your lymphatic system.
Yeah.
And your lymphatic system basically allows you to pee it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by doing so, it allows you to get rid of all that unnecessary byproduct that actually impedes or suppresses your ability to recover fast.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Now, one of the last things also, right, we talk about celebrating small wins, tracking our progress, but at the end of the day, we're humans, we're not machines. We cannot just keep going, shh, right? Eventually, you're going to hit a plateau, or worse, you're going to get injured, you're going to burn out, you're just going to crash. So the ideal way is at the end of the day to keep finding a graph where you go like this, the upward trend, but you want to find that balance. Now, I guess a good way is to learn actually how to rest or how to cross-train,
Yeah.
right? Take time off. That's something that's, once again, I believe that's one of the hardest things, hardest training for a runner, to take time away from running.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, when I developed the Adidas Runners program, if you've come for our sessions, you notice that, not all our sessions are the same. We have highs and lows, like as in like we got longer sessions, we got shorter sessions, we got sessions that are a little bit faster, we got sessions that are a lot slower. The idea behind it again is to have variation in our training, but to also allow you guys, as runners to have some downtime, and not to just keep going hard all the way because you eventually will crash and burn. In terms of cross training, like for myself, what I like to do is that usually if I just did a long run and I just need some downtime, just to let my body recover, I'll actually go out and jump in the pool and then do some, just some swimming, light swimming or just float, That also helps because it allows your body to just have that movement in, but also again helps the body to just have that active recovery and to flush out all those byproducts as well.
And so I think also, right, there have been times when we've trained together also, and you have found that in times where you actually take some time off, you come back and you do like a time trial or run and you feel like you're running stronger or faster over the same distance, right?
Yep. And then I always wonder what happened because I wasn't actually training or running for a
right?
period of time. I mean, I'm very pro taking breaks and resting. Like for example, this week, I haven't run at all. So I think it's important to do that rest.
You know why also? Because your body has a chance to rest, you actually adapt when you're resting and you actually improve. When you're trying to chase that run after the next run, you end up running tired. And this is one of the critical things where people are preparing for an event or a race. And they're like 2 weeks out from the race and they go like, oh, I haven't done enough running. I better squeeze in that extra amount of training. And the problem with that is that they go to the race and they're tired. So they're not going to be able to run at their best. But when they actually take, like with my runners, when I get them to take those necessary breaks or time off, they actually come back feeling a lot fresher, and ready to just do a proper run.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's really important. That downtime is not necessarily a waste of time. It's actually time for your body to adapt and actually,
that's a really good point.
make the gains.
The most important thing is do what feeds your soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quote for the day. So guys, thank you so much for joining us over the last 4 weeks throughout this Recalibrate series of workshops. I hope you've learned something with us along the way. Once again, I'm just going to quickly recap. We've learned about recognizing your mistakes, common mistakes, how to prepare yourself for a run, a good running economy, and today, one of the most important but often neglected things, goal setting and recovery, basically celebrating small wins, going back to enjoying the journey, recognizing and asking yourself, why do you run? What feeds your soul?
Yeah.
So don't forget, any more questions, quickly drop in the Q&A section. We'll address them in a bit. But from all of us here, thank you so much for being with us over the last few weeks. My name is Captain Eugene from Adidas Runner Singapore.
My name is Sofie from Adidas Runner Singapore.
Coach Sean from Adidas Runner Singapore.
And also one last thing, guys, if you want to join us for runs, you can check our Facebook group, Adidas Runner Singapore, and you have all the information there, the schedule for the runs and how to ballot for slots. And we hope to see you guys at the runs.
Boom, boom, boom.